There are parties going on right across the Lower Mainland. I'm sure you've seen the Georgia Strait and the Global TV and other news. And so I know that there's going to be a lot of party hopping today, and I just really appreciate that you've come to spend part of your day in this community. I mean, it's not a difficult view to look at as a stage for Canada Day, I would say. So who thinks we could even find a better backdrop than this anywhere in the world? And I do want to say happy birthday to anyone else whose birthday it is today. I know that it is one person's birthday because she told me. And who else has a July 1st birthday? Let's see if there's any hands. Guyan. Okay. Well, happy birthday, Guyan. So before we go any further, we had invited the Musqueam protocol elders to join us and do a greeting on behalf of our Indigenous peoples, and he's unfortunately had a family emergency and not able to join us today. So he sends his regrets, and I would just like to take this moment to acknowledge that we're here on the traditional unceded territories of the Coast Salish First Nation, the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh. So we have the privilege. We're celebrating Canada's 150th anniversary of Confederation, and here in Vancouver we call it Canada 150 plus, because we know that our presence here is successful and it's based on millennia of Indigenous peoples living here, having communities here. And so we welcome that idea that we are so connected with our Indigenous peoples and so grateful for them. They are part of who Canada is, of course, and and Indigenous reconciliation is a very important part of our Canada 150th celebration. So I am going to make, yes, thank you. Let's acknowledge that. I'm going to be making some more formal remarks a little later in the day, in about a half an hour, where we will kick off the singing of O Canada, and we will cut the birthday cake before it melts. So it won't be long from now. But I wanted to take a moment and just thank some of our sponsors and donors who made today possible. We chose this spot and our partnership with the Native Daughters of British Columbia, who are the custodians and owners of this very historic building, the Hastings Mill Store Museum, because we wanted to raise the profile of the museum and the hard work that goes into maintaining it and making it available for the public to come and see artifacts from that era. So this building is as close to a 150-year-old building as we have in Vancouver. And I think it's just an awesome privilege to have it right here in Vancouver Quadra. So the first person I'd like to acknowledge is Dan Sinclair, who made a very generous personal donation to make today possible, $5,000, so thank you, Dan. If you're here, thank you. And if any of you if he's not here yet, Dan, are you here? So he said he would be joining us later. If you run into Dan, please give him a thanks on behalf of our party here, our picnic. Some of the permits and the facilities were possible because of Dan's donation. And in order to have a picnic like this, we've had some very generous donors as well. A&B Party Event Rentals, Elks Lodge, Loblaws, IGA, Greens Market, Cobb's Bakery, Safeway, and Serrano Greek Pastry. I'm so glad we have Serrano Greek Pastry here today. So thank you to all of the food sponsors, and I think Serrano's has been here since I was a young teenager. Is that right? Can anybody confirm that for me up on Broadway? Yes, okay, so Dino's saying yes it is, because I remember biking from where I lived up in 4200 block 14th to Serrano's to get my Saturday pastry, one of those lovely shortbread pastries they serve there. And the fact that they're still there is really part of the stability and the culture of the West Side community here in Vancouver Quadra. So I'm going to announce what we're calling our Hidden Heroes Contest. And so what that's about, that's not something that's unfolding as part of our Canada 150 Day. It's something that is unfolding over the course of the summer. And we are asking you to consider nominating someone who you think is a hidden hero in the community. And so we have some more information about that on our website. It's for underappreciated or under-recognized people in your network within Vancouver Quadra who you believe have made a great contribution to the community and or the country. So we're going to be accepting nominations over the course of July. We would like them to be 100 to 200 words, so you don't have to write a whole essay. We'll have an adjudication process that will be nonpartisan and non-political. And we have a limited number of very special Canada 150 pins that have in them a piece of the original copper roof from the House of Commons on Parliament Hill. So the limited number of pins, I believe, is something like 18 that I have the privilege of being able to award, and we want your help in identifying people who have contributed to the community and will receive a pin. So please consider going to the website and helping us out with that. Jillian did a great job of talking about the raffle. The raffle is to support the Hastings Mill Store Museum and the Society.
You don't have this, that's why she's giving it to me. To give to you.
Okay. So, and we have a trivia game for today, because what today is about is being part of this community. It's about a chance for me to meet you and you to meet me and us to chat if possible. It's about giving to the community by making Canada 50 a successful celebration here right in our quiet but beautiful green verdant part of town. Parking's probably not as much of a challenge as it might be downtown. But it's also to learn a bit about our country. And so we have a trivia game. And Miriam, I need to know, am I to,
So the first question is that, and that's...
Okay, so we have a prize for the first person to answer this trivia question. And I think we have a couple of spotters in our team here. So if you know the answer, just put up your hand. Which explorer was our riding Vancouver Quadra named after?
Vancouver.
We'll take another guess. Okay, you should go up close so we can hear. Oh. We'll take another guess.
Is it Bodega?
You're getting closer. Oh, okay. Yes. Juan Francisco Bodega y Quadra is what we're named after. Vancouver Quadra. So congratulations, and Outdoors Adventure book set.
There we go.
So if you like outdoors adventure, which it looks like you do, here you go. A great prize. Yeah, thank you. And later in the day, we'll be acknowledging the donors of our prizes, and we'll have 5 different trivia questions over the course of the day. So, one more? Okay, we're doing 2 now. Who knew? You got another one for me? On here, number 2. Okay, all right. So we're all warmed up, are we? We're ready for the next question? What is the largest island in Canada?
Baffin Island.
Okay, that was the first hand up, even though we heard the answer elsewhere. Baffin Island, you're right. And you get a fitness pack courtesy of Good Life Fitness.
I'll give it to my mom.
So thank you, Good Life Fitness, for your donation. Is our Indigenous peoples and the importance of Indigenous reconciliation. So I have the privilege as one of the many, many Canada Day celebrations across the country. And of course, you know that there is like an amazing crowd and magnificent program in Ottawa itself, but there's also from New Westminster, Surrey, Granville Island, downtown, in literally dozens of locations across the Lower Mainland. We're celebrating like this. So we're part of a community by celebrating together. And I just want to again thank you for being part of this community and deciding to celebrate Canada 150 here, wherever you may go on from here. So the Canada 150 themes are youth, environment, diversity and inclusion, and Indigenous reconciliation. And so I want to bring a congratulations to you on behalf of the Government of Canada and our Prime Minister Justin Trudeau for being here to celebrate our great country and the 150th anniversary of Confederation. So, thank you. So we're thinking about youth in this country as a government and what we can do for youth well-being and to have a sustainable nation, a sustainable country for the long term. We're thinking about the environment, and those of you who know me well know that I do that every day and have been working towards environmental restoration and protection for many, many years, and am now privileged to be able to express that passion that I have in partnership with the many that share that passion as the MP for Vancouver Quadra and as the Parliamentary Secretary to the President of the Treasury Board. So environment is a second major priority of our government because it's a huge priority of Canadians and especially of British Columbians. The third one, diversity and inclusion, is making Canada, I believe, be a beacon in the world. So we're a country of immigrants who came here to share the land and resources with the Indigenous peoples who were here for millennia before us. And we have found a way to make diversity be the richness of our country from a cultural perspective, from a spiritual perspective, a community perspective, an economic perspective, from families perspective. There's so many families that are culturally interwoven. So diversity and inclusion is a gift that we can offer to the world, and our Prime Minister is a pretty good ambassador for sharing that gift and speaking of that gift. So I think it's important to really recognize our country for this. And we can take it for granted. I mean, one thing that we on the west side probably never take for granted is how beautiful our environment is here out in Vancouver Quadra, and whether it's West Point Grey or Southlands, Dunbar, Arbutus, Kitsilano. So we are very fortunate, but we are also very fortunate to have a country in which people come from other cultures and other lands, in times of distress or not, in times of looking for opportunity. And we have been doing this for 150 years and more, and working to create a Canada where we are dedicated to peace, we're dedicated to justice, we're dedicated to freedom, to equality of opportunity, and to respect for human rights. And those are gifts that we contribute to the rest of the world. So that third theme to me is so important for Canada 150 plus. And then of course the fourth one is Indigenous reconciliation. So with our respect and concern for the environment, our appreciation of diversity and our openness to people whose lives are at risk in their countries, and our willingness to to sponsor, to assist, to donate, to accept, to celebrate, to make part of our community, those who come from other places. We also need to recognize that we as a society have not done such a great job with respect to Indigenous peoples. So that is a very important next step as we move forward past the 150th anniversary of Confederation. And our Prime Minister is often saying that there is no relationship as important to our government and to him personally as the relationship with Indigenous peoples in Canada.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, so we are here to celebrate together, and this builds community, which is one of the things that I am very privileged as a member of Parliament to have been able to choose to do. So an MP is a bit of an entrepreneur. You have some jobs you have to do. One of them is flying across the country on a very regular basis and being a legislator in Ottawa. But when you're in your community, there's really a lot of latitude as to how to connect with the community, engage with the community, so you know what people are interested in and passionate about and concerned about. And that engagement is what I consider to be community making. And so I have the privilege of having just a very effective and very compassionate and very organized office staff, and I wanted to take this moment to just appreciate what they do, because Kaylee Garland, Kaylee, are you somewhere in sight, or she may be serving hot dogs, because Kaylee does it all. So Kaylee is the core at in my office, and I would call her an event organizer extraordinaire. So also Miriam and Les are the two key people who support me in being able to organize things. We organized 22 public events in the last 12 months. Who knew? 22 to invite you to connect with me and tell me what you think about the policies that we are doing in government, but much broader than that. So I love to engage with you, and I love that you're here, and without you participating, we wouldn't be creating this community together. So this is my thank you, my heartfelt thank you, because you enabled me to do what I'm passionate about, which is connecting you with public policy and with each other. So thank you. I'm not going, I think the cake is probably starting to slide off the table, so I'm not going to take too much longer, but I wanted to mention the role of youth. So we, this year for the first time, established a Constituency Youth Council, which is high school students who'd like to learn leadership skills, have discussions about policy, and are just simply interested in how Canada works and how they can contribute and be involved and give input. And so are any of our Constituency Youth Council members? I see Lorraine back there. I think some of our volunteers are from the council. So put your hand up if you're with the CIC. Okay, so they're over there helping out at the table. The Constituency Youth Council, if you haven't heard me speak about it until now, organized what they called the Great Debate, one of our 22 public events where they debated very, very thorny public policy topics around immigration, around marine mammals and aquariums, around the age of voting and so on, and they tackled those issues very thoughtfully and debated senior members of our community, very experienced and educated members, and did a great job. So we're going to continue working with the Constituency Youth Council. If you or someone you know is in high school and would like to be part of that, would like to have a wrap-up of your thoughts at the end of the year that goes right to the Prime Minister, please contact our office, and we want to make that opportunity available to have a greater inclusion of youth in our engagement with the community in terms of policy and issues. So Now that I have mentioned that, are we doing another, I think the trivia questions are done? Okay.
Oh, Canada in G. Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all of us command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north, strong and free. From far and wide, oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Maintenant en français. Oh Canada, mais tu peux commencer en anglais aussi. A native land. Ton front est saint de fleurs glorieux. Quand ton front s'écorte une fille, et chez nous la froid. From histoire et épopée, we stand on exploits. God